Hey everybody, it's Etherblade here, and this is video number 3 of the following episode 1 and 2 season premiere special. Today is Monday, January 27th, 2014. Okay. Joe Carroll is now a country boy living with his sister, who is Arlene from True Blood. Arlene has a daughter who is the African-American girl sitting jotting down in a notebook or something. She was sitting on the couch. Okay, apparently Arlene is a prostitute, and she seems to service everybody in town. I'm not sure where that's going from. Where is it coming from? And more likely, who is the father of that child? Because the little girl really doesn't look that much like her. So I'm wondering, is some weird thing? Did she steal the baby? I don't know. If she's Joe Carroll's sister, there's something weird going on anyway. Carlos Perez, a.k.a. Bodie from The Wire, who he'll always be known as Bodie to me because I love The Wire. Carlos is the face of the whole subway massacre, because what I found out from watching episode 1 again was that Mike told the FBI agents, Mike is Ryan Hardy's partner, ex-partner actually, because after this episode, I don't know what's going on between them. So Mike told him to use facial recognition, I guess body recognition, and they found Carlos Perez, aka Bodie. And he's the face of this whole thing that's going on. His face is all over everything, all over the news. Everybody knows him. Everyone's looking for him. So to make a long story short, what basically happens is that Carlos is in the hotel room with Giselle, Mark, and Luke, because apparently, I guess he's staying with them, he's friends with them. I'm not even sure that relationship, but after what happened last week when he got hit in the windpipe, I've been kind of iffy about those freaky twins. And they're sitting there in front of Carlos speaking in French, and Carlos can't understand, and he's just speak English, and I'm just this is one of those times when you really need Rosetta Stone or something, just so you can figure out what the hell they're saying. But they're both just Giselle and Mark and Luke are well, I can't wait to kill him. I want to be the one to kill him, says Giselle. Well, you'll get it in due time, All right. So basically, my belief is that because Carlos was the one with the record and Carlos is the one with the issue, they sent Carlos on purpose. I'm sure that the twins were there, but Carlos is the one that they would, the police would, they're using them as a patsy. That's my feelings. As for the young lady who met her in this episode, this is why if some weird person's coming up talking about they're delivering flowers, I'm not opening the door. I'm telling them leave them outside, slip it under the door. Don't even open the door. Don't even act like you're there. Do what my aunt used to do. People come over that she doesn't know she used to, or actually people she knew, she used to basically sit there and turn off all the lights and act like she wasn't even there. It was the funniest thing in the world. Anyway, I'm not sure why not only did this girl not question the fact that the flowers were delivered to her from some random person, but the chick went into her apartment or her house, left the door open, and then this fool comes in and closes the door. And I'm wait a minute. You don't know him from Adam. You're not sure where this is going. What in the hell is going on? I personally, I don't even know. These girls are stupid. Okay, you find out they basically cut back to, because before I end this actual part that I'm saying, basically, they knock out the girl, and then they knock out the man, and because it's they're in the house with the people who they're delivering flowers to. The woman goes inside, and they knock out the girl, and then the man pops up, and the other twin, I believe that's Mark. I can't tell those two apart, save for one has slick back hair, one has hair in his face. I need to, get to know these crazies, because I'm not even sure. So they knock both of them out. Now they're looking for the son. I guess the parents must have taught the son to hide. Smart move for kids. You cut back to Joe Carroll's sister, who just finished having sex with the Reverend. It's church people, I swear. Some of these folks. I swear. So he leaves and thanks her for everything, and you still see her daughter on the couch, and she's still doing homework, and Joe Carroll's trying to help her or something. There's something weird going on between them. It's like a weird exchange, like father-daughter type thing. I don't know. Joe Carroll's just creepy to me. So anyway, they flash back to the family. The whole family's like, the mother and the father are dead. The little boy, they still can't get the little boy. The twins are just sitting there like they're cooking food and they're dancing. See, this makes me miss Jacob and Paul, because Jacob and Paul were like, Paul was always like the, and Jacob was like, but Luke and Mark, they're like a step above that, to the point where they are so comfortable enough to sit there and to eat food in a dead person's house with them and act like it's mom and dad. Mom, I just met a girl. The girl who was dead on the bench reading the book. She had long legs for days. Da 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 da. I'm like, okay. They're saying grace. God, thank you. I'm like, Lord. So then they flash back to punk rock Emma with the pink and blonde hair, and she's looking for Carlos. Because the last time when she went to look for Carlos, Ryan Hardy appeared at the apartment. Because I don't know if I mentioned this in my previous video, but Ryan Hardy may not be a part of the investigation, but he's doing his own personal task force with his niece. So they're following leads and things they find, and they're going back and forth and doing what they have to do. Okay. I wrote down notes because I keep getting frazzled every time I'm about to talk, so might as well have a note. So apparently the little black girl is basically Joe's protege, because they're sitting there watching TV, and for some strange reason, all of a sudden he pops up, and this woman who I believe is Sprague Graydon, she was on Paranormal Activity as the sister, the one who had the son. Yeah, that one. I guess she's going to be popping up. Maybe the twins will go after another sanction faction of this group will come after her for writing this book about Joe Carroll. Did I mention the book? No, I didn't mention the book. Apparently someone felt the need to make So they're watching this whole thing on TV, and the next thing you know, Joe Carroll's face pops up and the girl recognizes him. Now, common sense would tell you, you know what, this guy's crazy. Even if he's sitting here, he's like the kindly father, uncle, whatever. Something's not right with him. But I guess because she was raised in the backwoods down south, nothing against people from the south, and I'm speaking in terms of this girl. Because of where she was raised, I guess she's never been to a city, doesn't know anything about common sense, and thus, there you go. So, to make a long story basically short, you realize something weird's going on between them, because Joe has her looking up different information and different stuff about the things that he's done, and has her looking up and getting newspapers or something, because apparently Joe's followers have gotten hip to the fact that the FBI has infiltrated every way possible that they can communicate. So they're communicating through what I believe are ads in the newspaper. Somebody was talking something about pocketbooks or something like that. I was like, it's weird. But anyway, the lady from the art dealership, or Connie Britton, who I said last episode, her name is actually Lily. Lily is a curator, I guess, at different art museums in New York City. Well, the twins decide to set their sights on her. Why they have their sights on her, I have no idea. No idea. No. Furthermore, even before I get to that part, the twins found a way to lure Ryan Hardy to... No, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm so sorry. So Lily's having some type of art party, art something, and the twins somehow lure Ryan to this party, and they seem to disappear in the crowd like they're supernatural, got powers or something. And it's like one of them is talking to him, can see him has him in plain sight, while the other twin is like trailing him casually. See, that's the problem about this version of New York City, because me being in New York, I've always been taught, to be aware of your surroundings. If you see somebody like walking around this weird, like I tend to people watch a lot, so I tend to see that on more occasions than I should. So to make a long story short with that, what happens is that some guy that Lily's working with decides, you know what, we're going to take Lily to some secluded area. Meanwhile, Ryan's still talking to Mark, either Mark or Luke. I have to figure out which one is which. He's talking to one of the twins, and they're telling him, well, you know what, she's your little girlfriend, she's your new Claire. Yes, she is the new Claire, and I'll get to that in a minute. She's your Claire, and you're in love with you and those blondes and that art dealership, and da-da-da-da-da. So Lily's friend somehow convinces her to go all the way down in this museum, all the way down to the basement. I'm not sure. At first I thought it was a setup, and I'm like, is he a part of this Joe Carroll circus? Something's weird about that. But anyway, they end up surrounded by one twin in a Joe Carroll mask in the front and one in the back. So here comes Ryan Hardy, and he saves the day basically, because the gentleman who was with Lily got stabbed in the stomach by one of the twins. But thank you God that Joe Carroll is such an awesome shot, because he shot the slick-haired twin. I'm going to call him Luke. If I'm wrong, let me know, because I'm confused with these twins completely. So basically, in the end, basically, the twins are able to lure Ryan somewhere else even before this. They lured him to some building, which was I guess, being renovated or something. It was within eyesight of what looked like a brownstone where the girl who was receiving flowers and her husband and child were. Ryan went in there and was able to find the kids. And the little boy was sitting there. He was like, where's my mommy? And his mother's sitting there dead in the dining room table. I guess another messed up little boy. Anywho. Mike. I understand that Ryan Hardy is doing his own thing. It's a pain in the ass for the FBI, because the FBI essentially is basically being sidetracked by Ryan and his antics. But then again, that's how Ryan was in season 1. If you didn't see season 1 of The Following, definitely check that out, because Ryan was basically on his own rules. But his way of thinking got them close to Joe Carroll, because without Ryan, they are so behind. And like I said, if it wasn't for Ryan, Lily would have died. And David definitely would have died, because David's okay. He didn't die. Mike has a chip on his shoulder against Ryan, because Mike is Ryan's old partner, who was also the dude who played, the heck was his name? Iceman? Ice something on X-Men. I'm an X-Men fan, and at this moment I can't think of it. When I think of it, I'll tell you. He was in the X-Men movie. All I remember is he could turn things into ice. What happened with that was that, for some reason, Mike is just, like, pissed at him, I guess, because Ryan became like a party boy after Claire died and everything happened. He started drinking, and he was just a little bit out of control. So, to make a long story short, Mike doesn't want Ryan around. He doesn't want him to help. He's like, you almost got people killed. But like I said, if it wasn't for Ryan, Lily would be dead. And David would definitely be dead. But again, as usual, it's the same old damn thing. Ryan, you're getting us in trouble. Then they have this new girl with dark hair. She's an agent. She looks so familiar from whatever show. I'm going to look it up to see what shows she's been from. Like, she's been on. But, for the most part, she looks so familiar. And for the gentleman who's from Dexter, which I mentioned last week, the guy who plays the twins, because those are not two different guys, that's the same guy. He was Dexter's protege, and then Lundy from Dexter's on it. If you've watched Dexter, season 2 or 3, you know who Lundy is. Lundy was messing with Deb, Dexter's sister. So, he popped up, but see, the thing about the following, and I like the whole show, is that you don't know who to trust. So when they may seem like they're so innocent, they could be a part of it. Because, like, I've always thought this, and I've always had this theory about the show. Joe Carroll, it took him years to plan this out with these followers, and he knew exactly who to latch on to. Like, people were saying, well, how many followers did he get? He had a book tour. And if you know about book tours go usually through 30, 40 states, but sometimes they go through every single state. And people like to travel for books. I know when I go to signings, I travel to the city and stuff, but people travel, so all you needed was some weirdos or some crazies to get in there and then just fall in love with his work and his joie de vivre, and there you go. So, that priest from the beginning came back to the house. He was looking for the girl's, Joe Carroll's sister, and she was still in town. I think she was having sex with some man. I'm not even sure. And they're watching TV, and the next thing you know, Joe Carroll's face pops up, and the priest, like an idiot, tries to inch himself out of the room. Dummy, you should have just sat in the room and waited, and then later say, you know what? I'm gonna head on out. It's a little late. You tell her whatever. No, this fool was just as obvious as hell. And the next thing that you know, he's getting to his car. Now, see, people are against automatic cars. One thing about a car with a thing, you could go beep, beep, start the car with one press and be out. He had to fumble with his keys and fumble with the locks. And Joe hit him with something. Broke the glass through the front door from the driver's side door, and then when he was outside of the car, the girl came up and she hit him in the head. Now, the whole time when Joe finally gets the priest and has him tied up in the chair, the reverend, and has him tied up in the chair, the little girl's like, no, don't do it, Joe, no. Seriously. We are way past that. But beyond that, what happens is that Joe is trying to, like, I guess he's getting his second win this season. At the panel, they said he was going to be even worse and it was going to be brutal, and they even mentioned the twins. Went over my head because I went to so many damn panels at New York Comic Con. That stuff, it comes back to me when I watch the shows, but if I have to actually, like, sit down and think about it, it goes over my head. So what happened was that, the girl basically sat there and watched as Joe Carroll stabbed the priest in the stomach. I said run. Mom said no, not a good idea. I agree to disagree. But in the end, they ended up hugged up. Her and Joe Carroll, like father and daughter. I swear, this season's getting crazier and crazier. As you can see from my glasses, I crazy glued these heifers so I can get my new pair soon. For the most part, I mean, tonight's episode was awesome. Was it as crazy as last episode? It took it up a notch, and I'm sure next week with that bomb is going to take it up even higher. Who knows? But here's a few things I actually learned from rewatching episode 1. Here we go. If I could find it, I'll get it to you. I'm really, for the people who didn't watch my previous video, I'm just going to give you like a quick run through for it. I'm glad I'm glad Ryan Hardy killed that crazy woman that he slept with that lived next to him in his old apartment. I told you about Lundy. I think Ryan's new job is he's either a professor at a college or he teaches for an FBI class. If you understand what I'm saying, like Quantico or something, but to the 10th power. His niece is played by Jessica Stroup from 90210. The whole stabbing in the subway takes place on the 6 train. Remind me to avoid the 6 train. They said Agent Mike Phillips was dragged basically from New York to Virginia, from Virginia to New York. And I didn't notice that the girl that was dead in the bed had like ligature marks, like rope marks around her neck, like she had been strangled with something. Nor did I realize the whole juxtaposition of like the twins and how they were like, you really didn't notice that they were 2 different people. You're thinking it's the same guy. Emma is in New Jersey, which for the previous episode I forgot to mention Emma. Not sure what's going on with Emma. Don't even know what's going on with her. I think that's about it. Judy is Joe Carroll's sister. Emma, as far as episode 2 goes, Emma is, I guess, I don't know, I wouldn't say she's having second thoughts about what she did, but she's trying to figure out what the hell is going on with this new Joe Carroll thing that's going on. And that girl that's her roommate, she is too gung-ho for everything. Just way too gung-ho. I hope that this season we get to learn why she went down to New Jersey. Is she in school? What's she doing down there? Why is she hiding? I don't even know.